December 8th, Japanese strategic bombers were sent to destroy the defenses of Wake Island. Their initial strike was somewhat successful, destroying 8 Wildcat fighter planes and killing and injuring about 34 soldiers. Then on December 11th, a Japanese naval task force consisting of 3 light cruisers, 6 destroyers, and 2 transports attempted to land 450 Special Navy landing forces. The commanders of the American forces at Wake Island told their men not to fire until the ships were well in range of the guns, and at about 4,500 yards they opened fire. They were able to sink a destroyer and badly damage 3 other destroyers and a light carrier. The Japanese commander, Rear Admiral Sadamichi Kajioko's ship, was one of the damaged carriers.
After the first failed attempt, renewed bombing continued as Japan came back in force. However, the bombings were less effective as they were expected, and the necessary precautions were taken to hide the guns, and the Wildcats were able to take down many of the bombers and prevent further damage from being done. Then on December 23rd, the second attack came. The Japanese commander, Rear Admiral Sadamichi Kajioka, had returned, now aided with 4 heavy cruisers and various other warships, including landing craft. The Japanese began landing. During the landing, 2 patrol boats were sunk and many other ships were damaged, some beyond repair.
By 2:30 in the morning, the first Japanese landing crew came ashore. Though the defenders seemed to be holding their ground at first, they were forced to surrender. This was partially due to a miscommunication and the overwhelming forces of the Japanese that would have eventually taken over the island. By the end of the struggle, the Americans had lost all 12 Wildcats, 81 Marines, 8 sailors, and 82 civilian construction workers. The Japanese lost 2 destroyers, a submarine, 21 aircrafts, 7 ships were heavily injured, and almost 1,000 Japanese soldiers died. Overall, the battle was a Japanese victory. However, it was also the very first American stand. Hope was instilled in Americans, for they knew that the soldiers were fighting bravely. And although it still remains a Japanese victory, the Battle of Wake Island inspired the American people to fight back, thus driving the inclusion of the United States into World War II.
After Japanese victory, Wake Island was a valuable asset to the Japanese and was protected heavily the remainder of the war. The island was an important asset for both the Japanese and the United States as it had a runway that could easily land and service warplanes. The island was not settled until 1935, when Pan American Airways built a town and a hotel. The reason why any military personnel were stationed there was due to the high tensions between the U.S. and Japan in the late 1930s. The work of the airfield and defense positions started to begin in 1941, months before the attack. On September 4th, 1945, days after the Japanese surrendered, the troops left on the island lowered their flag, and Wake Island was officially handed over to the U.S. once again.